Hello everyone, welcome to the Team Dignitas YouTube channel. I am Lumpy, and today I'm being joined by our new North American Regional Manager, Mylixia. How are you doing, Mylixia?
Hello, I'm doing very well. How are you, Lumpy?
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good. So some of you may have seen him appear in the background of a few streams over the last sort of run up towards Worlds and the sort of Season 4 playoffs. You've been with the team for a little while, but sort of give yourself a general introduction as to what you've been doing, what you're going to be doing now, and then what you've also done in the past for Team Dignitas.
Sure. So I started off actually as Team Dignitas' success coach. My background is in personal development. I've done a lot of coaching for small organizations and individuals, and that kind of led into a bunch of motivational speaking, which kind of, I guess, would be an odd transition into esports, but probably over the course of the interview, it might make a little bit more sense. So I found myself coaching the LCS team at first, our League of Legends team, just trying to help each individual player kind of get over the barriers that they had to become better players and become the strongest versions of themselves, which has sort of always been a fascination of mine. So going into the North America manager role has been quite a transition, but it's really just kind of doing that on a global scale. And with all of our teams, the Hearthstone team, Smite, and I think League of Legends are our main ones in North America, but we're planning on probably doing a few more. So it's more of like a global thing with all those teams.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I guess yeah. You sort of had a very sort of in-depth already. Got to know a lot of the guys already, which is really cool. And I definitely think
Yeah.
that's definitely sort of it's interesting to see how over the last couple of months you sort of sort of been able to sort of work your way into the role. I mean, so. Coming from that background of sort of motivational speaking and stuff like that, like obviously, what do you like really want to bring to esports as like as the regional manager? Like, sort of, what do you want to bring to the team and also to esports as a whole?
That is a really good question. I think I think gaming is a communications platform. The communities that we create through Team Dignitas, two things. So the communities we create through Team Dignitas are really a unique point in time. We've never really had the ability to do YouTube videos like this, Twitch videos, and things like that, where we can talk to large numbers of people at once. And I think that the influence that esports has will have as great or far greater, more likely, an effect than actually regular sports had, because it's able to reach so many people around the world so quickly and so fluidly. So we're able to broadcast and kind of get a really unique message out through the team, and that really excites me. And the first thing I want to do, I think, is connect everybody together. I've always been really big about community. That's kind of how I worked on my Twitch stream, and how I want to work here is kind of bring the Dignitas community together and across all of our social media, and just try to connect people with what they're doing, and broadcast this outward and show kind of all the cool things that esports and gaming has to do with one another. And the second thing would be achievement as a the way that watching top players, like I'm sure you've watched a lot of top players perform, and you've had the opportunity to do this through the team. I think that's like something that is really cool about esports. We've seen all these people who just seem to excel. There are millions of people that play League of Legends, and millions of people that play all these online games, but only a very select few of them are able to just like ascend and become masters. Like, why, right? Like that question always kind of is almost like a kind of an obsessive focus for me. I've always wondered what makes those people successful. That's what got me into the success coaching, and I actually think there's a formula around that. So as a North American manager, I want to put that formula into doctrine, and I want to help. I want to make that a very clear and concise message that we can use to get the best players in the world on Team Dignitas. And if we don't have those players, we train them.
Sure. Okay. So what would be? I mean, one thing obviously you talk about there is mindset, and obviously like why
Yeah.
there has to be obviously okay, physical comes into it in certain so, sort of maybe mechanics, maybe whatever, like your actions or whatever, but like obviously mindset, it plays a massive part in a lot of what you've just sort of said there. Like,
That's
so
everything.
as a sort of that, what do you think right now is like the mindset of a lot of the professional players, and what do you think some things are holding those sort of like on the fringe kind of players back? Do you think, like, in terms of mindset?
I think that a lot of pro players right now probably don't fully absorb the importance and magnitude of their positions. And so what do I mean by that? So I think that a lot of when you have a guy like LeBron James in basketball and NBA, you know, and you look at a person's history like that, the amount of deliberate practice and the amount of like time to himself on the court that made him that skill level is absurd. But because we look at video games as kind of like a pastime and sort of like a casual thing to do, we don't take all that time in solo queue as seriously. And I feel like what's missing from most professional players' repertoires is deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is the idea. There's actually a really good book about this by Jeffrey Colvin. It's called Talent is Overrated. And basically what it outlines is that there's a way to practice in any skill that can make you a master much quicker and much more efficiently. And it has to do with, for example, like looking at a League of Legends game. This is something we did with the LCS team. And we would say, take the top 2 mistakes that you made every game, write them down, and then do a further evaluation of those mistakes and see what happens over the course of 10 or 15 games, right? That's something that you can recommend across any skill. Take the top 2 things you think you could learn from it every game or every instance you have to practice that skill, and then review it and go through it. And very few pro players across, because I've had the opportunity to work with Dignitas, but I've also had the opportunity to do a lot of consulting with a lot of other esports organizations. And almost as a whole, in fact, I would say as a whole, very few teams incorporate deliberate practice. We do scrims, and we do training together, and we work on communications and some of those essential things. But getting down to like the really gritty, just like solo queue or ranked game practice to be able to really analyze your mistakes is something I think is missing from the scene, and we really need to bring in a very real way.
Okay, fair enough. That's definitely sort of nails on the head. I mean, a lot of players are very complacent when it comes to sort of that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I've noticed throughout my sort of tenure in esports. Is some players can be very complacent. I mean, like back, a lot of them are sort of, it's crazy how esports has exploded in the last 2 to 3 years. It's crazy, and like I think it does sort of now coming to a front where you need to kind of these sort of almost like a sort of set of guidelines kind of need to be sort of set out. It's like this is what needs to be done to continue playing at the pro level, which is something that a lot of people do want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one thing that you sort of really have sort of, is personal development. Like, obviously, like that's something, I've had experience with you in the past, like with personal development and sort of, as a player, as a single entity of a team, whatever. I mean, but as gaming as a whole, like, sort of gaming as a means of training for personal development, like, sort of that's something I'm actually quite interested to hear what your opinion is on.
So, like personal development as it relates to gaming?
Yeah, like.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's actually really interesting. That's one of my favorite topics. So if you look at gaming, like our kind of idea of it as internationally is, oh, it's kind of a pastime. It's something for casual people to do. It's something, I go do after work to kind of forget about my life, right? Like I don't want to, no one really considers it a very serious thing. And I think that's one of the gates to esports is that to get more people introduced to this, to get, let's quote, normal people, like, the guy that you're going to, have a beer with or whatever, to really enjoy esports, and not just the people that actually play video games to a large degree. To get esports introduced to those types of people, we need to really justify and normalize this as something that everybody can do and everybody can play at a high level if they practice enough. And there's other cultures that have done this successfully. That's why Korea is such a staple of their culture and their society, and to a large extent that's happening in China as well. If you look at all these really cool studies about like MIT is coming out with, and a lot of these universities and respected like research groups are coming out with, you'll find out that gamers as a whole, not just professional players, but people that play at an average level, have higher decision making. They have higher reaction times. They're able to bounce off ideas faster, and they're able to make not only better decisions, but also quicker decisions in a very short amount of time. And that fascinates me. It goes to show that the way that, if you look at top athletes in regular sports, their physiology and the way that they think about their sport and the way that they operate in that sport is actually biochemically different than a person who's just dabbling in it or a person who doesn't do it at all. And we're finding out that that's exactly the same, but on the mental level in esports. So it's kind of a training ground for people to, a lot of the concepts that you can apply in a ranked game of CS:GO or of League of Legends or something. The interpersonal skills that are required, the social skills that are required to be able to work with your team, the ability to analyze your mistakes and not do those mistakes again and get better, the ability to lead people. All of these things kind of encompass into very useful life skills that I don't think a lot of people think about. And I know that through gaming, I've become a much better person. I have become I myself have become a way better person through gaming because I've just been able to adapt a lot of the concepts I've gotten from gaming and made them into something that's tangible and practical in my real life. And that's something that I think that we could encourage more through esports. And I think in the byproduct of it would be that you also get more respect for the industry at the same time.
Very good, very good, very good answer. So obviously, like you said, you've been sort of a part of help consultancy sort of through other esports organizations. What sort of really drew you to Dignitas as a whole? Like because it's something that you've now made a really sort of dedication to with the sort of taking up the position. So like what are your thoughts about Dignitas and like what do you think? How is it different or how is it why is Dignitas your choice for taking up the role?
I actually had a lot of options to be when I kind of I don't know, like a couple of people used to call me like the shadow man behind esports because I was doing a lot of different work for a lot of different people and teams, and I became interested in Dignitas through one of our LCS players, Alberto Crumbs, and doing the success coaching thing was almost a trial to this position. And kind of to see how the Dignitas culture worked. And Team Dignitas is a really unique organization in a lot of ways. First of all, probably most interesting is that I don't think that a lot of people realize like the real width, the breadth of what we do. Like we have so many different teams, so many different organizations, so many different points where we are relevant in esports and gaming. So that diversity was kind of the first thing that attracted me. It was the ability to say, hey, we can actually go into multiple different games and we can influence each person there and we have a presence there. Whereas like a lot of esports organizations, they're devoted to one game or maybe one or two games, like not all, but most of them are. Dignitas is also a really cool place, being on management and everything. It's a place where I feel like we can present ideas and those ideas are not stopped by any kind of bureaucratic nonsense or any kind of like social hypnosis. They're considered fairly, and they're brought into power if you have the ability to back it up. I really like that culture because it allows you to make very big sweeping changes and test things out in an open environment versus, going into kind of like the average corporation bureaucratic nightmare where you have to go through a lot of tiers or hierarchies to get something done. If you can prove it here and you can back it up, you have an opportunity. And that's not just true of me as a manager, in a fairly high level position, but also of content editors and many of the people who started volunteering for Dignitas and then they got into these crazy positions because they took the initiative and they were able to do that. Dignitas is really the only esports organization that creates that kind of dynamic culture. And I love that, and it's so cool to be a part of that.
Well, I mean, it's great to have you. It's great to be able to talk to you today. I mean, is there anything particular you want to sort of shout out at all? Like any sort of shout outs or anything you want to go, like particularly if you guys want to follow Mylixia, go. Let's see, what do you want to say? Whatever, go for it.
Well, let's see. A lot of you probably know me from my Twitch TV stream. So that's Twitch TV/Mylixia. That is a Team Dignitas stream now. We still do variety gaming every day there. Also have the YouTube channel you should check out for Team Dignitas and my own YouTube channel. I'd also like to thank people. So I'd like to thank the entire community of Team Dignitas that has been brought together to support us so awesomely. Like the fans and everybody that's here. You guys are amazing. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better. Thank you very much to our sponsors who take care of this company. All of the loyalty you guys show to supporting us so that we can keep doing this for you. It's really an honor to be working for this organization and to meet so many cool sponsors at these events that have so many great attitudes about the industry, and they're so insightful. So I've had that unique opportunity. And as for me, I just hope to be really making an impact here. I'm going to be working very hard every day to do that, and it's been an honor to have this interview with you, Lumpy, and so thank you. And yeah, that would be probably it for me, man. Just grateful to be here, for sure.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mylixia. Guys, do make sure to check out any other content on the YouTube channel as well. Let's go sort of hit up Mylixia, hit up all of our guys, and say a massive thank you to them. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy.
Hey guys, this is Kiwi Kid.
And I'm Cutie Pie.
And we wanted to thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe.
And check out more of our videos.
Yeah!